Goodness knows you've been looking long enough. With the Volvo XC90, you've finally found what you've been looking for. A luxury SUV with seating for up to 7 people and loads of cargo space. Not to mention premium technology, including Google Maps, Google Assistant and Google Play. The Volvo XC90 is what you're looking for. Now at special run-out pricing from $99,990 plus on-roads. Visit Volvo Cars and discover why the XC90 is the vehicle for right now.
You're listening to the Weekend Sport Podcast with Jason Pine from News Talk ZB.
Just a final text on the life of George Foreman and the Rumble in the Jungle. Steve says, Piney, in 1974 for the big fight, I was 10 years old. My mum came home from work to find half my class in our lounge. We were the first ones to have a colour TV. I got in a bit of trouble for that one. Good on you, Steve. I bet you did. But well worth it, I'm sure. Well worth it, I am sure. Just repeating the sad news we have just learned of former All Black and All Blacks head coach Grizz Wiley, Alex Wiley, has passed away overnight at the age of 80. Let's get you to our regular Sunday catch-up with James McOnie. Hello, mate.
G'day, mate. That is really sad news. I really enjoyed Grizz Wiley's company, the times that I met him, and my thoughts and love go out to his family and friends. And the last time I saw him, he was playing bowls, and it was live on Sky, actually. He was representing his club down in Canterbury, but the thing about Grizz is he really was a pioneer in rugby, and you think about the rivalry between Canterbury and Auckland, with John Hart doing all the modern sort of fitness stuff with Jim Blair. Well, Grizz Wiley was really doing it grassroots style with farmers on hills and all that sort of thing, but trying to make that Canterbury team as fit as possible and as well drilled. And I sort of liken it to, Rocky. Like he was doing the Rocky version, and Auckland was like the Ivan Drago, the Dolph Lundgren. I hope this movie reference lands with you. It
has landed with me. Well said, mate. And yeah, almost fitting actually that last night the Crusaders, the evolution of the old Canterbury teams, went to Eden Park and gave them an absolute hiding, the Blues. Did you watch that game?
Yeah, I did. And look, it just shows that the Blues, they're just not the same beast this year, are they, really? It's the game has sped up, so their big crash bash burn ball does not really work in the current climate of rugby, what's happening, but there's just a malaise through the Blues, and I think whether it's Caleb Clark with his pending court case over the motorcycle incident, fleeing the scene allegedly from the police. Things like that, I think, can unsettle a team. I think even Hoskin Satutu clearly has been trying to leave New Zealand for the past 6 to 8 months. And look, there's just other things I think contribute. There are injuries too, but they're just not the same team. And Canterbury, the Crusaders, I should say, if there were power rankings of New Zealand teams and on who's sort of in the ascendant, it's them. They're number one.
Indeed. Oh, indeed they are. And watching them up close last night, yeah, I think everybody should be a little bit worried about what the Crusaders might do. And, you think about last year and the injuries they had and the players they didn't have. And even watching Will Jordan out there last night, man, what a player. What a player he is and could be.
Yeah, Will Jordan has pretty much given any hope for young aspiring fullbacks. They just have to put it on pause for the next 5 or 6 years, because he looks like that's his position, that's where he wants to play. He's going to get that 15 jersey with Razor as coach. So that's what we can see in the future for the All Blacks. But for the Crusaders, even the likes of Shea Fihaki, we just saw Macca Springer score 5 tries for them last week, and he reminds me of Damien Penaud, the French winger. And then you've got Shea Fihaki comes in, and he looks, a tall, rangy, long-striding winger. There's just so many weapons, and also great to see David Havili. Look, he's just bossing the team around. The captaincy really agrees with him.
100%. He was the other one last night. I thought, man, he's just a force of nature there, and just the glue in the back line. Some of who, inside him, Taha Kemara and Cole Preston, young, really young in Super Rugby terms. He's got his mates Jordan and Reece outside, but Havili's the glue in there. While we're on Super Rugby, I thought the Highlanders might beat the Reds, but they didn't.
No, they didn't. And this is the one thing that we can say about the competition, and the one selling point for Super Rugby this year is anybody can beat anybody. It is a really compelling competition, and I think the style of play is great. I mean, we didn't see. I thought we were going to see another Caleb Tangitau try, but someone like him now, with the game sped up and the gaps opening up, we wouldn't have even been mentioning his name a year ago. So I really feel that the Highlanders are on the right track with what they're doing, but I think they may have overthought things by moving their star up to date, Tavatava Nawai, out to the wing. I'd say, I mean, he's your co-captain. I'd say you say to him, what position do you want to play, mate? And he probably should have just stayed at 12.
I agree. Again, yeah, we're in passionate agreement today, aren't we? Let's see if we can find something to disagree on.
Yes, please.
Well, if we stay with Super Rugby, were the Chiefs lucky? They were 43-7 ahead at half time and only ended up winning, much more narrowly than that. I think the Moana Pacifica got with an 8. Were the Chiefs lucky or no?
What's your rule on using cliches on this show, Piney?
Oh, look,
okay?
I'm all for them. Bring them on.
Okay, it was a game of two halves.
Go on.
It was. And, by the way, that show has been revived. It's on Sky Open Thursday nights at 8:30 p.m. But the thing is that the Chiefs should be worried by that because they were rumbled in the second half. The Moana looked superb in their comeback, and they should have put that game away, the Chiefs. But hey, it's interesting. Sometimes when you see teams on attack, they look like completely different beasts. But I would say that Damian McKenzie has stepped it up a notch this year. He's putting his hand up for Razor. He wants that 10 jersey. He's going to try and make Razor stop dreaming about Richie Mwonga, which will be tough.
It will be, yeah, because those dreams are frequent and ongoing, I'm sure, in the mind of Scott Robertson. Hey, cliches. Our year is a cliche. Our year. Back-to-back wins over the Sea Eagles and the Roosters for the Warriors. Our year?
It does feel like our year now. I didn't think it was our year, but this does seem is it a mirage? Because it could be our year. But really, it's probably a massive transitional turning point year for the Warriors, because I think on your show, more than a year ago, I was talking about Ali Leatawa, just hoping that he was going to be the X factor in the back line. And it's taken him a while to develop. It's frustrating when you're a Warriors fan watching teenagers like Bradman Best or whoever else, Bronson Cherry, well, he was on drugs, but, other teenagers, Lockie Galvin, succeed for other clubs, and you're going, we've got one too, and he's getting into his early 20s now. When is he ready? Well, Ali Leatawa is ready as a genuine X-Factor centre, so that's great news. And, we need a couple of superstars because that's what the game requires. You look at those big games, but you've got to say Webster is one of the best organisers, and he's got them so well drilled that there's a lot to like about the Wars and the way they go about their business. Absolutely.
Roll on the Tigers a week today over in Australia. A couple of other matters I want to get your thoughts on. Sam Ruthe. We had Nick Willis and Sam's dad, Ben Ruthe, on the show yesterday. This is quite incredible what this very young kid is doing.
This is massive. His races go viral. Everybody knows his name, Sam Ruthe, around in the athletics world, just in social media. But what it's done as well is I feel like athletics is on the rise. There's a renaissance in New Zealand athletics. You can see even with Hamish Kerr, Zoe Hobbs, all the people who have sort of starting to excel in the events other than just the throwing. And I mean, let's be honest, shot put kept this on the map. But it's great to see what's happening now. And Nick Willis did as well, of course. But if you look at athletics, what the biggest resurgence is also with run clubs. I mean, if you're not on Tinder, you're going to a run club, right? It's a way to meet people. And it's bigger now as a social sport than, I don't know, you think about the things that we've played, Piney, seven-a-side soccer, touch.
Yep.
Run clubs are massive. And I think athletics, if you've got someone like Sam Ruthe as your pin-up boy and the kids who normally look up, like you and I looked up to John Walker, well, the kids are looking up to someone who's their own age, which is amazing. Absolutely.
Yeah, I saw you there the other night. You were there watching him do that, become the youngest ever sub 4-minute miler. Did I see your impressive form there as well, or was I mistaken?
That was me there, yes. I was blocking out a bit of the floodlights.
Not at all. Not at all.
We had our youth reporters working for Crowd Goes Wild, and they did a sterling job, Jewel and Sophia, because we thought, well, it's a youth story, and it's big, so should we talk to our youth affairs desk? We didn't have one, so we created one, and they did a great job for Crowd Goes Wild. Fantastic.
Just before you go, will I see you at Eden Park tomorrow night for the All Whites final push to the World Cup next year?
You will, Piney. The atmosphere won't be as good as 2009 at the Cape Town, which still remains probably the best atmosphere of any New Zealand sporting event I've been at. For you as well?
I'm so excited I turned my mic off instead of on. Yes is the answer. Yes is the answer.
Well, that's the thing. And the one thing that excites me as well as a fan is this is the first time since I was a kid, since 1981-82, that I can actually name the All Whites team, the starting lineup. I sort of had a stab at it before they arrived. They got in camp, and I pretty much got all the outfielders. I just didn't get Max Crocombe. I thought that maybe they might have given Paulson the nod. But hey, when have we had an All Whites team that you could nail down an 11? This is a great side. I know I'm hoping that they get through, but I think if they can, they might be able to sneak out of the group in the World Cup.
I think that is absolutely achievable for them. And you're right about the team. Darren Baseley seems to have landed on his 11. Going to chat to him next hour, actually, find out if there have been any injuries. But if there weren't any players who didn't come through the other night, I think it'll be the same 11 tomorrow night. And that would probably be fair enough. They say you don't change your winning team, and I don't think he will if everybody's at his disposal. And you're so right, James. Next year at the World Cup, let's say they get there, an expanded competition, this is the kind of team that could get out of a group.
Well, I hope so, but you and I will be top and tailing, I guess, when we're there. So, it's a blessing.
I'll be cheering for New Caledonia then in that case.
Oh, come on, I was looking forward to it.
Look, all right. Well, anyway, let's see what happens tomorrow night, and then we can work out accommodation arrangements and that sort of thing. Would that be okay?
Fair enough, yeah, but I think that's on the cards, definitely, so get used to it.
All right, thank you, James. I appreciate it. I will start to get my head around that particular concept in the next little while. James McOnie, huge part of our Sundays. Catch him on the Alternative Commentary Collective. Crowd Goes Wild across your social media platforms as well.
For more from Weekend Sport with Jason Pine, listen live to News Talk ZB weekends from midday or follow the podcast on iHeartRadio.
For a few years in the 1970s, the Mr. Asia Syndicate made millions.
Heroin creates its own market. It acts like a form of plague.
Until jealousy, betrayal, and murder brought it all crashing down.
Clark would have threatened him. Go and kill him. If you don't, I'm going to kill you and your wife and your son.
This is Mr. Asia, a forgotten history. All episodes now available on iHeartRadio, Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.